guys. Yeah, the team sure brought the energy. We could even start off from the first, the first interactions that we had. It's kind of like our channel that we wanted to try and aggregate a bunch of ideas kind of before deCODE a bit, or at least like during the start of the day. Kind of the main theme was how do we show, like, how do we kind of visualize a transaction on one of our cards? Because we're a credit card. It's kind of hard going in like the SQL all day and finding out like how much should we spend, and you can't really get the scale of what's happening at any given time. So we're thinking like, how do we visualize this thing? So everyone's putting in a bunch of good ideas, sending in a bunch of links. Michelle like made some sketches and whatnot, all having a bunch of discussions. And kind of the way that we approached it was the first day that we spent the first like hour or two just really figuring out, okay, like each of us, like what do we want, like front and back end, and of course, like we kind of knew before, but just to figure out which sub problems we'd work on, asked ourselves a bunch of questions, and then after that went into investigation and kind of like decomposed what pieces we need for this. There's kind of this like rough design that they were working on, where say we know that we have actual data that we could send from our backend. It just like comes in like a webhook, and we're gonna make this guy to take that actual data, attach like stuff that we want for the front end of the show, like like on a like we were to show it on a globe or something, like longitude, latitude, etc. And then send this over a WebSocket to the front end. Things got kind of interesting where we realized that the front end, when you try and render it, that you can't render each thing individually. So we had some really messed up, so some really interesting solution over here, which I think Victor, you could probably speak to, where we batch up the stuff. So we have a WebSocket, then we undo the WebSocket and just send over a bunch of data into this globe. So I think it was mainly Tuan, Victor, and Ronnie who were the main architects of this. So maybe not your proudest work of undoing the cool thing already, but it gets the job done. And on the back end over here, we kind of had this data that we know that we had, which Mike sourced, and we send over. And yeah, said that we kind of just went in, divided and conquered. Trent worked on like this webhook simulator in case we didn't get the real data. Was sending over a bunch of webhook data. We got this. We got the server that pretty much just translates that, geocodes it, adds in the longitude, latitude, and then like sends it over the wire. And that's pretty much that structure. And we could probably go into the code or any questions after, but it's kind of like when we put all the pieces together, like just to summarize that we have some webhook server that sends over kind of like transaction events, some WebSocket that has like a live connection to the front end, and adds on like extra data or strips away like sensitive business data as needed, and then something on the front end to take all that data and then kind of render it in real time. And kind of what we have is just this like globe looking thing that it's like showing all these transactions that are getting sent over from the back end, and we're running the server, and it will like have a webhook simulator. So the idea is that with a lot of hard work from the team, that we're going to probably put this on our website, use this locally, use this internally, like as a dashboard and stuff, just to show like real transactions once we plug in the real data. Yeah, and that's kind of what we built.
Awesome. Yeah, this looks amazing. This looks, if you've ever, yeah, you guys are all Canadian. So, with Shopify, every time it's Black Friday, they have this globe. So I assume maybe some inspiration came from there, but this looks awesome. This is a great project and demo, that especially the fact that you can throw it up on the website too. Is that everything, Griffin? If you want to mention anything else, you got like, I think a minute or more left, but.
Yeah, we could have
I think one other thing is the geocoding. Like we had to convert like postal codes to actual lat long. So yeah, we had to use a Google API to convert that.
Sounds like fun.
Cool. So I think what we're gonna do is, if you guys have any questions